How's it going, guys? Welcome to the channel. Today, we're making bowls. Sounds pretty good, doesn't it? All right, welcome back to the channel, everyone. As promised, today we're making ceramic bowls. If you have watched my previous video about making bottles, we're using the same amount of clay, which is 3 pounds. We're using mostly the same tools, except for there's one extra. We are using this rib, a rounded rib from Kemper. So this is a really nice tool for making bowls. So let's get into it. 3 pounds of clay, straight down to the middle. This is what I meant earlier in the last video about slap centering. I called it tap centering, but it's slap centering. This is a great way to get the clay sort of centered without adding any water. So recommend doing that if you want to use less water. And again, seal the edge. All right, so same process as before. 3 pounds of clay, get it centered. And cone up and cone down. I'm gonna try and do this a little faster. My last video was 35 minutes. But that was because it was a bottle. Those bottles take me a lot longer. Have to see how long it takes me to make one of these. So cone up, cone down. Make sure to squeeze the clay in down there. And back down. All right, that's pretty good for me. It doesn't need to be perfect. So this is the first part where I change what I'm doing because I'm making a bowl instead of a bottle. And that is opening it up. Previous video, I just drilled down. This one, we're gonna drill, not straight down, but we're gonna try and widen this out. So left hand, right in the middle, thumb down here guiding it, and your right hand, you're just guiding it and pushing straight down. Try to keep your fingers straight. Don't let them curl. It's like we're trying to make a little bowl shape. Okay. There we go, that's a little better. Smooth it out a little on the inside. Okay, this is where the rounded rib comes in. Like to push down and start to smooth out this inside before I even start pulling. Just doing that really helps get that rounded bottom bowl shape. Okay. For these, I like to leave a little clay on the bottom to trim a really nice foot. I have to bring out my little bowl to show how exactly I trim it. But that's pretty much all the prep work for these. Get the clay attached to the wheel, center it, cone up, cone down, and open it up with the rounded Kemper rib. The pulling form on this is way different than what I usually do. I usually am doing something like this or something like this. This form is way different. I just keep my middle finger kind of in the very center of my bowl, and I have my thumb over here just guiding my hand along the edge, and my right hand, I'm gonna go push straight in to the bowl like I'm trying to connect it to my middle finger, and always have a sponge of water above your fingers. So while you're pushing, if you need water, you just push your thumb down and you get extra water so you're not twisting the clay. All right, slow down my wheel a little, about, let's say, a little slower than medium speed, and we're just gonna push in. I'm pushing in with my thumb and my fingers, and as you see, it kind of just goes straight up. Slowly release, and we'll see what we did. All I did was I pushed in. I didn't try going up yet, which is the next step. If you make a lot of bowls, something that's happened to me in the past is you'll notice your nails right on this hand where you push in, because you ride on the edge of the wheel head, your nails will start to wear away, start to get like sandpapered off. So be careful about that. Make sure you don't hurt yourself. Next step, we're just gonna go straight up. So I'm same form, kind of pinching with my left hand and my right hand pushing a little bit. We're trying to get a planter shape. Don't worry about trying to get it round looking yet. Trying to get that planter pot shape, like a little V. So that is probably my, well, you could say my second pull. So let's just go for a third here and really thin this out. This time I'm gonna use my form for just raising walls. Be careful about not thinning it out too much, especially near the base. You thin it out too much down there, it's gonna cause problems later. It's okay to have a thick rim because we're gonna spread this out. This is actually gonna be a really large bowl. Probably should have done a little less clay. All right, so another cool trick is for these bowls is using a rib to scrape off the slip on the outside edge. So I'll show you that. Just like on the bottles, you hold your rib and try not to move it. And with your inside hand, you push the clay outwards. And if you watch the edge of the clay on the inside, you can see where your finger is. See right down here, I didn't push enough. Okay, so now it's touching. Now I'm just gonna slowly move my finger up. This method was taught to me by a master ceramicist at Sac State University in California. His name is Scott Parody. Really awesome, talented wheel thrower and hand building ceramicist. All right, so we took the slip off of this outside edge. this is something I like to do. I like to cut my foot before I start shaping the bowl. And you'll see why in just a second. Makes it a lot easier. Okay. Clean this up a little bit. Looks good to me. Have a little bit of a wobble, but who cares? At this stage too, you can also kind of round out the lip of your pot using a sponge, or what I have here is a thick sheet of plastic from a Ziploc baggie that I cut, and this just really does a great job rounding out that edge. See? So, and that one's free if you have Ziplocs, you can make your own. Okay, that's good enough for now. So, last step here, we're gonna get the rounded shape that we're looking for. But we're gonna do it in a way that's almost counterintuitive. When I first started making bowls, I would never do it like this. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna push out from the top first and work our way down. And why we do that is this section of clay supports everything up here. So if we push this out first, it's gonna make everything weaker up here, and it might twist down here. So if you start up here and you work your way down, you could really stretch the clay out a lot up here and then push it out down here. So let's try that. The form for this, if you get the same Kemper, let's see if I could read the name. Nope, it's not there anymore. This is from Kemper. I'll probably put a description down below of this exact tool, but I put my thumb in the hole and my forefingers right there. And we have the rounded side inside. If you don't like that, you could also do it this way, but I just prefer this. Okay, so let's, I use two hands here. Right hand holds the rib. My left hand kind of just guides the right hand for stability. So push straight out, and you want to be careful. Oh no. See, that's what happens if you make it too thin. Oh, all right. Cut. Be right back. I'll restart, and don't make it as thin down there. Be right back. All right, we're back. My bowl didn't collapse. I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't see anything. This time I actually reduced the clay to 2.5 pounds, because the one I made before was way too big. Step right here is important because you get that slip off the edge and it starts drying. It's a lot harder to take the slip off when it's a rounded shape. So take the slip off now, and you'll save yourself some time later, I promise. All right, so Add a little water maybe. All right. Attempt 2 of using this rounded rib. All right. It's looking pretty nice so far. Needs to go a little more round though. Let's do another round of it. There we go. A lot more round. All right, so really fragile right down here. So we're trying to be careful here. Don't want for this thing to collapse. So we're on a time crunch here. Time and pressure. You don't want to push too hard anywhere over here now. If you do that, it's probably going to collapse. So let's just smooth out the bottom using the skinny side now. Okay. Clean up our lip again. And as you can see, it got a lot thinner because we stretched it out so much. Okay. One thing I realized I like is I drape the plastic over the edge and try and make like a little outlet right here. See if that makes sense. Right here. I like making this little dimple so that the lip is a little thicker. Okay. That's how to make a round bottom bowl. Now we got to take it off the wheel. So if you didn't cut down here before you stretched it out, you'll need to do that now, which is a lot harder. So I'm not going to cut off as much. Okay. Also, if you cut a little groove down here and make a little spot for your wire to go under, it just helps get a nice clean cut. Okay. And clean the hands and we'll take this off the wheel. Great, so this one can be a little tricky, especially if you're not using bats on your pottery wheel. I have some, but I don't use them all that much. Okay, so once again, we have dry hands and we've already scraped the slip off of the outside of our bowl here, which really helps. We have a really thin wall that we've stretched out already down here, so we're not gonna grab it right here. That will only start to squeeze it in, and we're really going for something symmetrical here. So how I found that works for me is get like scissor hands, and you kind of go on both sides of the pot and squeeze really low. So let's see, squeeze and lift and down. There we go. And all down here we're gonna trim, so that doesn't really matter. If you look though, our pot already got squeezed in a little. That's okay. You just raise up a little right there. And usually you can get it back to a perfect looking circle if that matters to you. All right, there we go. So that's how I make a rounded bottom bowl on the pottery wheel. It's been awesome having all these new subscribers. I'd love to meet each and every one of you. Comment below anything you want to know or see in any future videos. But yeah, I'd love to connect with you. So thank you so much. See you next time.